Welcome to Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, the crime critic. And hey, y'all, today I want to talk about something that happened to me the other day that helped me realize a lot about myself, my personal growth. It's just an interesting story, and it's just something that I wanted to share with y'all. You know, like I say, I'm an open book. So whatever's going on with me, even if it makes me feel uncomfortable, I feel like, I want to talk about that and share that with y'all. So y'all hopefully can learn something from it and maybe help me grow a little bit more about talking about it, okay? So the other day, I had been asked to participate in an activity to help some mental health patients. I love doing that type of stuff. But in the process, at the beginning of it, when I was asked to do it, it made me like real nervous. You know what I'm saying? My anxiety was up. And then after I did it, what they asked me to do is conduct a yoga class, right? I'll do yoga, right? So they asked me to conduct a yoga class with the guys, and I did it, low maintenance, not anything too strenuous for the guys, just to get them active and moving, right? Now, I love doing that kind of stuff, right? But what I realized in the process was, at the beginning of it, I was so nervous about doing it, and I'm like, why do I feel like this? I like doing yoga, and then I felt great after I did it. But what was going on with me? Where was this anxiousness coming from, right? So the more and more I contemplated and meditated on it, the answer started coming to me as to what was really going on, man. And what I realized was this. In the process of being put in prison, you have to adapt and adjust to all the norms of being in here, right? And you have to learn to read the signs and interpret what the administration wants you to do, how they want you to act, and so on and so forth, right? So with this particular activity, even though I was doing yoga with the mental health patients, I had to interact with the free world people, the people that are over the program, right? And it wasn't the guys that made me nervous, it was the interaction with the free world people that made me nervous or anxious or whatever you want to call it, right? And I kept asking myself during my meditation, why? Why do I feel like this? Because I was not like an antisocial person before I came to prison. You know what I'm saying? So what is going on with me in my mind that made me get like that, right? And I couldn't help but conclude that through my meditation that the process of forgiving yourself is another part of that. It's forgiving yourself for what you've done and while you're in here and so on and so forth. But it's another part of that process that I don't think we take heed to. And that part of the process of forgiving yourself requires you to say it's okay to participate in life. It's okay to move forward in your life. And in here, it's really hard to do because you have to interact with people other than those that have on blue. And doing that in prison, you have to watch the tone that you use when you talk to them. If you're one of those types of people like me that sometimes talk with their hands, you have to watch that because they can interpret that as aggressive. You have to watch what you say and hope that it's not taken out of context or the wrong way because you can get in trouble for that. So I think what happened to me over time is that I developed coping skills in here that led to me becoming more antisocial than I really am. It's why I distance myself. I don't want to deal with these types of people, free world people, because it's risky. But doing that turned me into this person that really just doesn't want to be bothered with people. And I think that's something that a lot of us in here experience and go through. But I don't think that people out there in the world or the people that work in these facilities understand that that's what happens to us. So when we walk by an officer or a staff person and don't speak, it's not because we don't want to necessarily speak. It's because sometimes you don't know what mood that they're going to be in. And if they are in the wrong mood, then you can be punished for that. They take that out of context, what you said, and you end up in the hole, or you end up with a write-up, or you end up transferred. And that's scary because you never get in that place where you're relaxed. When you come to prison, and this is the point, one of the points I want to make sure that people out there understand. They always try to discourage people from coming to prison by talking about all of the stuff that's violent and that could happen to you, right? Well, all of that's true, but I want to add something to that. And I want to make my point by using this analogy right here. Imagine when you're at home, right? Anybody that's listening to this show right now at home, when you're at home in your room, you're at peace. That's the safest place for you, right? You know what I'm saying? And you're just totally relaxed. But see, when you're in prison, you are never, ever in a position where you can totally relax and be at peace and be calm. Because in here, you're constantly in that state of anxiety, not knowing what's going to happen to you, whether it be somebody in blue or somebody that's working at the prison. You never know what's going to happen to you. So you're in this constant state of anxiety. And what you learn by being in that constant state of anxiety is that to cope with this, you distance yourself. Now, the anxiety doesn't go away because you distance yourself. But what it does, it helps protect you from being a victim of somebody else's mood because you're not associating with them. And that's what I want people to understand is one of the things that can happen to you when you come to prison is you get turned into this person that you're not. And that can play both ways. That can be sometimes good, sometimes bad. Most of the time it's bad. And I just wanted to drop that on y'all just to give you a different perspective on how and why things happen to us in here and why you don't want to be a part of this life. You don't want to end up in prison. You feel me? And if you're a family member of somebody that has been in prison or jail, take this into account when you're dealing with them. The person that they were before they came to prison is not going to be the person that they are when they get out, most likely. This place changes you mentally in ways that you can't even account for. And there is no way that you can inoculate yourself from that, because the things that I outlined to you about how we can be misinterpreted in our actions, the way we talk, the way we sound, the way we use hand gestures, all of those things are real. And you could end up being punished for that. So you learn not to do those types of things, but in the process of not doing those types of things, you metamorphose into somebody that you are not. And that is risky and it messes with your mind. And yesterday, what I realized is that I have to give myself permission to participate in life. I have to give myself permission to move forward. And I have to re-narrate in my mind when I have those moments of anxiety. I have to re-narrate in my mind that, look, it's okay. Be mindful of where you're at and what's going on, but it's okay to interact the right way. You feel what I'm saying? I had to tell myself that, and I'm going to continue to tell myself that. So if anybody that is experiencing or can relate to what I'm saying, you're going to have to re-narrate what's going on. You're going to have to re-narrate that in the moment when you're going through that. Tell yourself that it's okay to live. It's okay to move forward with your life. Forgive yourself in that way as well, by giving yourself permission to participate in life, whether you're in here or out there. Okay? I'm going to wrap this up. I just wanted to drop that on y'all. You know what I mean? This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, the Crime Critic, and I say peace, y'all.